It's still Saturday, November 6th. I was still reflecting on that dream, and I actually went to bed asking, because I hadn't had, like, I felt like I had dreams, but I couldn't remember them. And so I actually went to bed asking God, you know, like, is there something I need to know? You know, I haven't had a dream in a while. What do I need to know? And so that I had that other dream, but I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember it, right? But the one that stands out the most is the second one, when I went back to bed. And I when I went back to bed to experience it, I guess. and then I was even thinking, I mean, it took place in a very busy setting. Very busy setting. And so I had started off on the inside, being brought out of the closet. I remember that, like, because when I put myself back in the closet, it was familiar. It was familiar. So I was thinking about it some more, and even right now as I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh, that's right. Like, I came out of the closet. So initially I was in the closet, and then I came out of the closet. And it was when I was in the closet, there was a lot more stuff, but there was this element of, like, the setting that I was in was either not a movie set. There was a lot of clothes, like these phrases, costumes. There were a lot of costumes inside the closet, and fabric, and yeah, and then I'm taken out of the closet, and then I'm outside. I'm actually outside of the building that I was in, and that's when this stranger who knows me tells me she's apologizing. She's apologizing for the delay. She's apologizing for just the delay, really. So there's this intuitive knowing, right, that I'm being asked to wait. But they're apologizing profusely, and then that's where JLo's outside too. And I was even thinking about it. I'm like, did I listen to JLo yesterday? Did I watch something with JLo, like a movie of hers? And I was like, oh no, I watched Dance with Wolves, which is one of my favorite movies growing up, because I had a crush on Kevin Costner from that movie. Actually, no, it was that movie, and what is it? Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. but Dances with Wolves, there's, because of the tie to Native Americans, that is my heart. And then buffalo used to be my favorite animal in junior high. That's weird. I used to get teased for that, but it was my favorite animal growing up. And so so she was in my dream. And she's I'm just trying to remember what she's saying, and she says something about having all these jobs, or the next thing, like the next project, like there's just this emphasis on the 3D life, right, of work, the 9 to 5, or the projects, and so there's this theme, overarching theme, right, of the conflict with the 3D world. And they're making comments about it. So I'm picking up on it, and I get it. Like, I totally get it. So then So I'm being asked to wait in it. Like I am, but I'm not at the same time. But I choose to wait. And then I walk myself back into the room, the building. And there's still somewhat like busyness. And that's, I think, where I decide to go back into the closet. I go back into the closet because no one led me there. Like I walked myself back in the closet. And then by that time the closet was more bare. Like there was more bareness. Like, so there wasn't a lot of costumes anymore, or resources, if you will. And I sat down, and then I'm looking at all the fabric. But there's also this element of me still working. There was this knowing, I'm like, I'm just gonna keep doing me. Like, I'm gonna keep working. And then there was like another lady that kind of came in, and she didn't like me. Like there was this like, oh, like 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 who do you think you are type of thing, right? And I saw her, and it didn't faze me. I'm just like, okay, whatever, right? But I kept working. Like so I was still working. There was this feeling of I'm still doing me. I'm still working, knowing that they're not ready for me. And I put myself back in the closet. So I thought about it, I'm like, okay, I know what this means, right? It's this whole concept of right, what I've come out to say, right? um this is, being the way, right? Idea, concept. And again, it's, so I was sitting with that a little bit. I'm like, it makes sense, right? In terms of how people interpret and perceive this experience, right? And this information and me, really. And I remember when I was first told that there was, I mentioned that there wasn't the heaviness of it. Initially, it wasn't the heaviness. Initially, it was just that validation of like something I already knew. And then it wasn't until I got here when I saw that message again, when I was learning to do my birth chart, and that message of like that I am a messenger with the soul of a ruler master, or a master ruler, wearing the mask of a diplomat. That weighed more. I feel like that statement weighed more, and I was having trouble digesting it. Because it was that situation, right, of like, again, having to acknowledge that bit of information that I kind of had put to the side because I didn't know what it meant, right, in terms of, well, what does that mean, that I'm the way to what, right, to healing, to this karmic cleansing, this feeling whole and complete, or whatever. It's the weight that you give it, the value that you give it, right? With anything. I was telling some clients the tools that we use in therapy, right? And then the people who do testing, right? Personality testing, or even with special education, that type of testing, because I had a client that was really struggling with her sense of identity with the results of this test. And I told her the impact, the weight that you give it, the value that you give this tool, because that's what it is. It's a tool. That's how much it will impact your life. But it's the value that you give it, the power that you give it. And I've mentioned it before, right? This is a tool. It's a tool, right? Coping skills are tools. Medication is a tool. Spiritual leaders are tools, right? They're just meant to provide information, to lead and guide. That's it, right? There's going to be some tools that are better suited for you, and those tools may not be suited for somebody else, and that's okay. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I'm not claiming to be Jesus. I opened up about it to a cousin of mine, and she's like a sister really on my ex's side of the family, and I mentioned her, and she told me, she's like, I totally believe you. She's like, some people are meant to impact larger groups of people than others. And I told her, I'm like, I'm not Jesus. I just want you to know that, like, I'm not here claiming to be Jesus. And she's like, no, I know. I'm like, okay. And so it comes back to whatever is in alignment with you, right? Whatever. And that's what I'm advocating for. If anything out of this journey is the advocating for you to listen to what's in alignment for you. What makes sense for you. This may be completely left field for you, and that's okay. Do what's best for you. Listen to your own internal compass. That's what I'm advocating for. Gently advocating. I'm not going out there with, a rally or anything. No. Do what's in alignment with you. Your body will tell you. Your emotions will tell you. Listen. Just listen. You will know the way. You have all the answers with it. I tell my clients all the time, you are the expert of your lives. You are just giving me the honor to peek into your soul for that moment in time. But you know what's best for you. Trust it. Trust it. Let it guide you. And your body will tell you when you're in alignment. Emotions are just energy, bottled up energy. And if we don't let it out, it will manifest in different ways. Panic attacks, right? Stress, depression. Like it needs an outlet, right? Not to say that everyone needs to be all blah. And this was something I mentioned to another client of mine. Sometimes we're just coping through life because we have so much to do, right? That was part of the dream. Like, people were just trying to get through the workday. And so I told another client of mine, you have littles, you have responsibilities, you have this, you're coping through life. You're just trying to get by. That's okay. So as you're coping, and then you give a little bit time to your healing, right? Whether it's an hour with me, because I was telling her, because she's like, my time with you is the time that I have for self-care. I said, great. Then that's the time that you dedicate to the healing, and then you go back to coping. And then you go back to your healing, and then you go back to coping, right? Other people have more luxury of time in the sense of not having so many responsibilities, so the space they give for the healing is bigger, right? A lot of college students go away from home. They move out of their environment when they can do the healing. There's so many different examples. And it doesn't make one way right or the other way wrong. You just are where you are. And that's okay. You believe what you believe, and that's okay. Whatever is in alignment with you. That's what I will honor. However, if you're in session with me, right, part of this process is to help you find out if what you're feeling and experiencing and believing is in alignment with you, right? So these questions of self-reflection are just to prompt that, for you to find resolution with your beliefs, right? And are they helpful to how you're functioning? And if they're not, what needs to change? And then you choose what that is and what that looks like for you to help you get into alignment. That's all this is. Some people will get it and some won't, and I'm okay with that too. So anyways, all that got triggered as I was reflecting on this dream and the responses and the awareness that I have, right? That this is just an example of what the healing can look like. That's all. It's going to look different for everybody. And this is just another way. That's all. Another way. No right, no wrong. Just another way to look at life. But it's still your choice. It's still your choice. And that's the beauty of free will, right? Is that you create your reality. You have your own paintbrush, you have your own mural, and your choices are the flavor to the life that you give it. Even if other people impact you with their choices, it's still your choice how to respond. It's still your choice how to respond. And even though you've made a decision before, you can always change your mind. It's the power of choice, the power of free will. You can always change your mind so that you don't feel stuck. So that you don't feel stuck. That's all. Alright, take care. Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience, and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best.